And welcome back. We are now at part 2 of New Comics, bitches! Oh, God! Okay, where do we leave off? Okay, Batman the Dark Knight, number 3. Let's see. Now, this is, other than Batman Incorporated, this is the only Bruce Wayne centric Batman title. Now there's a lot of stuff that's kind of going on here that I don't understand. Only because it's just, it's way out there. Not that I don't know the characters or what's going on, but that there's just because we've got Ragman, who's a character unfortunately that I'm not entirely familiar with. He's confronting Etrigan. Etrigan seems to have lost his ability to rhyme, so therefore he is decreased in rank in the hierarchy of hell. And Ragman seems to be killing kind of random homeless people. But the whole time, Batman, Bruce is, he's been, strapped to a chair, by the Penguin and Killer Croc, for his interference. He's basically, they're looking to kill him. What ultimately, of course, to Batman is an easily escapable death trap. Every once in a while when somebody straps Batman to one of these things, it always reminds me of Austin Powers. Just like an overly elaborate but easily escapable death trap. It's like it's the same thing over and over. But we've got and also this whole thing with Dawn Golden. It's been so long between issues. I really have to go back, and I probably should have before I read this. But I mean, it's important to have, when you've got basically what amounts to a bi-monthly comic, and I think it's even longer than that between issues. And which is not to say that David Finch is definitely working his heart out on this, because the art is awesome, the writing's pretty sharp. So it's all good. So. But it should have that little blurb of, okay, well, this is what's happened. Let's give a little rundown, just a small paragraph. And I've been saying that about DC for years. Copy Marvel. Marvel's kicking your ass in every other department. They're doing it in films now. They're doing it with, been doing it with the comics. The only thing that DC is really kind of proven themselves a lot better at is their current action figure selection is a lot better than what Marvel has to offer, at least on the 6-inch scale. The 4-inchers, those are pretty impressive on both ends. But anyway, we've got this other guy. This guy Forbes, who is actually gunning for Commissioner Gordon's job. So that's creating some tension. We've got this young girl who apparently has stolen the Batmobile. That I don't really understand. And Alfred's kind of, speaking in the Batmobile, kind of talking her down. Trying to, and, Batman. See, this Dawn Golden person reminds me a lot of the character of Lily Luca, who was in Daredevil recently, during Brubaker's run. She seems to be attracting every man that, because that's one of the reasons that it seems that Penguin is so dead set on killing her, is because he was humiliated by her. And I think they share some kind of past together, Bruce and Dawn. I'm not entirely sure, because this is a very new character. And it's a very new book. This is only the 3rd issue. So, but I will say, the writing is still sharp. Finch's art is, pretty mind-blowing as always. It does go a little bit off into the territory that I don't really care for when it's involving Batman, which is into kind of this supernatural territory. Now, it looks like Finch is he's really working his ass off on getting this particular plot off the ground. I'm really interested to see how they're going to do it, but I guess, I would rather they condense this, so, well, not in issue-wise, just time-wise, that they release them more frequently, so it's easier to keep up, I guess, is the best thing that I could say. But all in all, still a good issue and definitely worth checking out. Let's talk some HELLRAISER. So we got HELLRAISER #3, again, co-written by Clive and Christopher Monfett. Stephen Thompson does the art on this. The art's really good, by the way. And this issue is basically it circles around basically how Kirsty has kind of formed this little band of people who are looking to destroy all of Le Marchand's different kinds of configurations. Not just the puzzle box, but different things like music boxes, snow globes, all these things. And, it all kind of ties together with one member of her kind of merry little band. But also, it's about the, it's also about Kirsty's betrothed, Edgar, who has written this book called The Dream Sea and the Story Tree. Now, I like the idea of the Dream Sea just having those words in a Clive Barker book, because the Dream Sea in Clive Barker's kind of universe is the Sea of Quiddity, which is the basis of my favorite works of his. As far as, well, definitely my favorite book of his, and one of my other favorites, which is The Great and Secret Show, and my favorite book of Clive's, which is Everville. Two absolutely masterful books. Everville is the best thing that Clive has ever written, and I've read pretty much all of his stuff except for Magica. Couldn't really get through that one, but all of his, Galilee, Books of Blood, the Inhuman Condition, Cabal. Anyway, that's why I love Clive Barker so much, and of course the Hellbound Heart. It has the most interesting dispatching of a Cenobite that I've ever seen. It's just really cool. You have to kind of read it to kind of get where I'm coming from. I'm hoping this book is doing well. It seems to, man. If I didn't have this in my pull docs, I think it would. It was almost sold out, but I don't know. I mean, it's Boom Studios. They have, they do Irredeemable and stuff like that, and so they have an audience, but it's not, obviously it's not big, or not as big as I think they would like to have it, and certainly not, I would like for this book to have a much larger audience because it's really good. It's really cool. Just because I love the creations of Clive Barker. I like that he's incorporating the other pieces of fiction that have been created about his worlds, that he's acknowledging them, that he's acknowledging the creation, that, okay, well, the Kirsty that's in, this book, and that, is basically the Kirsty that's in the film, and not the Kirsty that was in The Hellbound Heart. This is completely, these are completely different people. I mean, even the design of the character is based on the actress that played her, that I can never remember her name. It's fascinating. I mean, the design work for the Cenobites is really, and they're designed by Clive himself, because he is a visual artist as well as, a fucking fantastic writer. but the kind of clockwork Cenobite that appears in this is really cool, and it just has an interesting ability. And just, great, great book. Really, if you can find these, if you can find the first 2 issues of this and this, please go pick it up, because this is really good stuff. I wasn't a huge fan of, I didn't think the last issue was that great, but this one definitely puts it back on track. But even the last one was still really good, so can't complain about too much. We're gonna talk. See, it's I've only got a few more minutes, and I'm not gonna any of the books that I have left. Well, okay, we'll do one. Okay. American Vampire: Survival of the Fittest, number 2 of 5. 5? Yeah, 2 of 5. Snyder. He's so awesome. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And this is such a good comic. I mean, the basically, the story of Felicia and Cash, kind of doing their thing for the vassals, and basically they're kind of like secret agents during the Second World War now. They're going to basically convince certain Nazis that they're there to donate money to their cause, but they're really there to rescue a scientist, a Nazi scientist. And basically everything just kind of ends up, in every, well, not every conceivable way. A lot of things end up going pear-shaped, but it's just, it's really kind of fascinating what is going on in this book. The whole, the relationship between Felicia and Cash is really strong stuff. It's good character stuff. I mean, it's not all based on action. And again, that's what I've said is makes certain comics great, is that instead of focusing completely on, okay, well, how much can I blow your mind with all of the action and set pieces that I create, and all the all the splash pages, but how intimate can I make the characters seem? How real can I make them seem? And how can I make their interactions realistic? And that's what Scott Snyder does so fucking well. In Detective Comics, he's a mastermind. He really is. But Sean Murphy's art is, it's not terribly different than Raphael Albuquerque's art that's in the regular ongoing American Vampire series. But wow, I'm so glad that I got turned on to this, because that I got turned on to the world of American Vampire, because this is just an astoundingly well done comic. And the fact that Scott is involved with all of its work, that he's, he's writing this, he's writing the regular American Vampire, he's writing Detective, he's also got a new series that's coming out sometime soon. I think it's called Severed. I keep meaning to put that in my pull box. It's coming out next month. It starts next month. Eventually, of course, it does end up kind of going pear-shaped. And it doesn't look too good for Felicia and Cash at the end here, when they're introduced to a squadron of essentially Nazi vampires. And that's never a good thing. Anybody who reads Union Jack or the Invaders, the old Invaders comics, they know the character of Baron Blood. Nazi vampires are not good. So anyway, we're going to take another break, and then we're going to be back, and hopefully, no, we're not going to get to the book of the week in the next one, so, but we'll be back, so stick around.